know, one thing that somebody shared with me, a friend of our mutual friend of ours, too, Melissa, that did the protest with us. He said to me that Christianity, the concept of Christianity, with Jesus and everything, actually originated in Eastern Africa, in Ethiopia, and we had discussions on the Axumite Kingdom and Abyssinia, and how it was one of the only states or nations in Africa not to be colonized. So that person was telling me that in one passage in an East African tribe, the Maasai tribe, talk about in their creed, we've known this God before and now we know him again. That just kind of lets me know, when I really think about that, when I reflect on that the powers that be, those in power, probably at one point took that knowledge that we may have had and repackaged it into something else.
Such as a Jesus figure with blonde hair and blue eyes, and a religion that's focused on mental and physical oppression.
Yeah, and coming from a Christian mental models or Catholic mental models, I was inundated with, Jesus-like figures with blonde hair and blue eyes, and I do believe in Jesus, but do I believe he looked like that? No, not at all. And I believe we just have these figures what we're supposed to idolize, Jesus and Santa Claus, and how it's always this dichotomy.
Right, and also think about the psychological impact that it has on little kids, and coming up in a church, or celebrating Christmas.
Definitely.
And also, I just want to say that I just want to dispel the notion that a lot of particularly African Americans have about the Bible. You can't tell people anything about King James. People love King James, and they King James version.
They King James out, man.
But King
Forget
James,
about cashing out. They King James out.
And I just want to say, King James helped to finance the slave trade in London. So you can trace the Bible and King James and the editing of the Bible back to the slave trade. So I want to say, and I want to preface that by saying that the Bible is not to be taken literally. There's a lot of good passages and good selections in the Bible, but a lot of it has been edited, rewritten, because the real truth lies in the Vatican, and whatever basement they may have locked away, you will not know about it, because it's not in the Bible.
They don't want you to know about that, dude.
Don't want you to know. But we will tell you that, Jesus is not who you think he is. We're just giving you an alternate view of this Jesus person. You may agree, you may disagree. That's fine. But we want to say that I want to say that Jesus never existed. Sorry. He never walked the earth as this historical, person in the flesh that the Bible kind of, says. Jesus is to be taken very metaphorically. I think Jesus represents the sun, as in the sun in the sky, the S-U-N, and not the S-O-N. Everything in the Bible, and especially during the whole winter solstice and Jesus' birthday and Christmas, represents the winter solstice. And during the winter solstice is when, the sun actually grows in power, because during the autumn equinox, the seasons and the sun actually dies in the sign of Scorpio, because you have 4 fixed signs, and that's what the Sphinx is. You have the sign of Aquarius, you have the sign of Scorpio, you have the sign of Leo, and you have the sign of Aquarius. Those are the 4 fixed signs, which represents the start of the season. So with Scorpio, everything dies. The fall comes, the leaves fall to the ground, the trees die.
Okay.
You can't grow crops or anything like that. But once the winter solstice comes, it's the birth of the sun, because the sun's days grow longer. And there's also a 3-day period where the sun stands still. And if you want to take the whole story of Jesus, that represents, the 3 kings coming to see Jesus and bringing frankincense and myrrh. It's very metaphorical. Okay. And you want to jump in? Or
I definitely do. I come from, like I said, my mental models are based off a Christian paradigm. I'm very open. I'm very spiritual. I don't think I have a codified religion. I could be at mass one day. I could be at, regular church, praising with my Baptist or Methodist family, or I could be at Masjid. I'm very open. I had a Buddhist roommate. I'm very open to all spiritual beliefs and religions and everything, but I myself don't really like to classify myself as one religion because I'm just spiritual, although I do believe in Christ. And jumping in on the portion that you were talking about, Melissa, I actually think that Christmas and Easter are inverted.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas
How
the,
so?
the zodiac season starts with Aries.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually think Christmas actually takes place where Aries begins, because it's around Easter. What do we talk about? We talk about new life.
Right.
We talk about the replenishing.
And
we talk
Aries
about,
is the first sign of the zodiac.
exactly.
It's the ram.
Exactly. And I
The
actually
rambunctious lamb.
and I actually think that between Scorpio and Capricorn is the time when Christ actually died, because as you were talking about, it was symbolized the death of things. All things die in spirituality.
Right.
I think to, like we were talking about a little earlier, to really sell this whole Christmas notion that things had to be go in alignment. Things had to be fit into like a cookie cutter slot. How can we sell this to people? How can we sell this to the pagan masses? Oh, why not align it with Yuletide or Yule? So that'd be a much more easy transition to where they may have been worshiping these gods. Now they can worship Jesus.
Because there's excuse me, there's many similarities between this Jesus figure, Horus and Osiris of Egypt, Krishna, and Hinduism. Like the stories are very similar. So I think for us to say that, or believe the hype that Jesus was this man walking the earth who somehow was better than us. Like, oh, Jesus, he's so great. He's divine. He's holy. He's a Caucasian male, blonde hair, blue eyes. Will never attain or live up to his image or his ideal. It's bullshit. Because I'm Jesus. I'm Jesus.
Now I do agree with you on that.
Jesus.
I do agree with you on that one notion. I think the one thing that we have to look at symbolically in the Bible is that Jesus is within us.
Right.
And I think to go back to my theory about this time of the year being the time that Jesus died, when he rose again around, which I think the time of when he rose is around Christmas time. We have to take that time to really reflect. What does that mean for us? What does that mean for us as Christians?
Because I think it's also a spiritual awakening, because as the sun grows and increases in power and length during the day, we also increase, spiritually, because the sun, like we said, gives off vitamin D.
Definitely.
And if the sun is out longer, we're energized, more often throughout the day. And also between the time of Capricorn and Christmas to the summer solstice is the height. Actually, the summer solstice is the height of the sun in Leo. So from now until the zodiac sign of Leo, the sun is increasing. And also, well, I forgot what I was gonna say, but we'll keep it moving.
I really wanted to touch on how Libra is right before Scorpio, and I think we were discussing earlier, one of the rationale with that tying Jesus into the zodiac, because like we said, we're looking at the Bible more symbolically versus literally, is that your heart has to be weighed before you can fight the fight. Jesus had to go into the underworld, going back to the whole Christmas Easter inversion, and I really think that was around the time Scorpio, around the time of Halloweenish and everything, where he died. In those 3 months between Scorpio and Sagittarius and leading up to Capricorn, that those 3 months represent the 3 days where Jesus died, and where a lot of things died. We died, may have died spiritually, and why we need that time to really reflect and pray.
And I think that Jesus' life represents us. I think we're all Jesus in the physical form, because I think Jesus was a figure that was created by the powers that be to kind of make slavery more, appealing or more acceptable to the masses because you have the spiritual figure who's, he's enslaved or whatever Jesus' story is. He's on the cross. He's, whatever, because everybody always says that Jesus had to be a black man because of his story. You know what I'm saying? So I think that a lot of slaves found comfort in this Jesus figure, and I think the Bible kind of took him from a more spiritual figure to a literal person who walked the earth when that's not the case. So I think we give a lot of our power away to this Jesus person instead of trying to look for it within ourselves.
Well, I think, there's a lot of people, for instance, James Cone, who I recently seen. James Cone, kind of parallels the Jesus story to Jim Crow South, and, also parallels the cross to the noose. And I think in that situation, he tries to make Jesus become more real for us that, have went through post-traumatic experiences or that are still going through post-traumatic experiences. So if you ever have any time to read, definitely read the James Cone. I'm starting to begin that process now myself. We hope you enjoyed our dialogue both on the Mayan theory, 1221, and additionally on our Christmas topic, on the true meaning behind, or the real meaning behind Christmas.
And we just hope that, you got edification for your mind and your spirit through what we said. And hopefully you'll tune in next time for our next episode.
So we're looking forward from hearing your comments on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. Feel free to let us know what you think. And definitely throw some topic ideas out there for us. We'll be really waiting to hear those. So until next time.
All right.
Peace out.